Let's talk about a company that did more than just sell coffee. It completely changed how we drink it, where we drink it, and even what we think it all means. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Starbucks.
Okay, let's start with a number, 55,000. And no, that's not just some random figure. That's the number of Starbucks wants to have open around the world by 2030. It's a goal that just screams massive ambition. And a number that big just makes you wonder, right? How did a single little shop that only sold roasted coffee beans grow into a global titan? To really get that, we've got to go all the way back to the beginning.
All right, so it all kicks off with the company's origins, and one really key moment that changed absolutely everything, taking Starbucks from a company that sold beans to one that was chasing billions.
So picture this, 1971, Seattle's Pike Place Market. Just a humble start, but here's where things get interesting. In 1983, a guy named Howard Schultz takes a trip to Milan, and he's just blown away by the energy, the community, the whole vibe of Italian coffee bars. He came back with his brand new vision, and by 1987, he actually bought the company to make it happen.
And that right there, that captures the entire shift in thinking. The product wasn't just the coffee in the cup anymore. It was the entire romantic idea of the coffee house experience. That one insight would go on to build an empire.
So this whole experience idea needed a name, a real strategy. And that's where we get to the simple but honestly brilliant concept of the third place.
So, what on earth is the third place? It's actually a pretty cool idea from sociology that Starbucks just grabbed and ran with. See, home is your first place, work is your second. The third place is that other spot, that anchor in your community where you can just hang out and connect. And Starbucks decided they were going to be that third place for everybody.
But, having a great idea is one thing. Turning it into a business strategy, that's another. They didn't just build community hubs, they backed it with an incredibly aggressive, super fast expansion. They went after all the best locations, the high traffic spots, and basically saturated the market until that green siren logo was just everywhere. Okay, so they've conquered America. But what works in one country, well, it doesn't just copy and paste somewhere else. To really go global, Starbucks had to crack its next big puzzle, China.
I mean, just think about this for a second. We're talking 1999. Starbucks is walking into a country that has a literal thousands-year-old love affair with tea. The challenge wasn't just about competition. It was about convincing an entire nation to try a whole new daily ritual. How in the world were they going to pull that off?
Well, they did it by being incredibly clever and adaptable. They took their core idea, the third place, and gave it a complete makeover. In the US, it was that comfy, familiar neighborhood spot. But in China, they reframed it as an affordable luxury, a symbol that you'd made it. Honestly, their playbook for China was a masterclass. They built bigger, more impressive stores, they localized the menu, hello, green tea frappuccinos, they teamed up with local companies to figure out the market, but the real genius move? They made holding a Starbucks cup a sign of status, a signal that you were part of this new, modern, global middle class.
Okay, so that brings us pretty much up to today. They scaled America, they won over China, and now Starbucks is brewing up what they call its triple shot future.
And no, they're not just sitting back and counting the profits. They've got an official plan for what's next, and it's called the Triple Shot Reinvention Strategy. You gotta admit, it's a catchy name that tells you they're focused on getting faster, bigger, and better. It's all built on three main pillars. First up, they're elevating the brand, renovating stores, and making things way more efficient. Second, they're going all in on digital, with a goal to double their rewards members. And third, they're pushing to go even more global, which, you guessed it, brings us right back to that huge number from the start. And the scale here is just, wow. It's not just the 55,000 stores. It's growing their rewards program to 150 million people and finding $3 billion in savings. I mean, these are gigantic goals for the company's next chapter. So as we wrap this up, the whole Starbucks story, from one little bean shop to a global icon planning its digital future, it really leaves us with a pretty big question. What's more important for a brand to survive in the long run? A great product or a great experience? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.